Hey, what's up? Back at it again. So this was gonna be a little bit different than the other one. By the way, shout out to all the love on the one I just did a few minutes ago. I did not expect that kind of traction to be that quick. Yeah, but I guess I didn't realize how important that question actually was. But appreciate the ladies who actually did that. So I appreciate you sisters for that. But this one's gonna be a little bit on the flip side, and this is mostly gonna be towards AKA the fellas. So fellas, uh, as men, we are not necessarily very well versed in the emotional spectrum because we are taught that emotions are weak. Emotions keep us illogical. Emotions have us doing things that are necessarily out of character. And of course, as a male, you are said to be the provider and the protector and the leader. And emotions necessarily kind of disqualify you when you're always reactionary towards certain situations instead of being proactive and just taking the time to think of the situation or being able to, I guess, think on the fly and just be the person you can depend on instead of the person that's afraid or I guess causes fear because of their unpredictability when it comes to their emotions. Now, as far as the black community is concerned, I mean, as far as black males, our emotional spectrum is, I can't say limited, but it's not very well praised as well as, I guess, the emotional spectrum of a black woman. And you can disagree with me all you want to, but as far as history is concerned, and as far as certain movies we've seen, like 9 times out of 10, a black woman's emotions will be a lot more catered to than a black man's, and that's just how I've always, I guess, noticed it. I mean, from my observation, and I'm pretty sure a lot of brothers would agree with me that that's pretty much like the norm. And as a person who's always had his emotions ignored and grew up in a family where his emotions always came last to other emotions, no matter who it was. I mean, I completely agree with the fact that brothers pretty much have like no one to vent to except themselves, unless it's like someone who has a similar situation or similar upbringing as him, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Now, I mean, it's a rare case, of course, that certain relationships that a brother could be in. I mean, whether it be with his mother, his father, I mean, his girlfriend, his homies. I mean, maybe he has that outlet to actually, vent to certain folks that he's associated with and are in very close proximity with as far as talking about what is actually going on up here because most emotions are usually starting up in the brain because as we all know all things start up here and manifest out here because that's where a lot of things or entities that exist today because they all came from the mental. But like I said, in my personal opinion, I feel like, let me say that I feel like there are certain ways or certain things that a brother will pretty much put himself into in order to feel some sort of happiness that he can't necessarily get from his parents or his significant other or necessarily just in general because it seems as if whenever a brother becomes transparent, it's always pretty much thrown back in his face, and pretty much he's ostracized to a certain degree, or chastised because of the fact of he feels this certain way about this certain situation. And because of that, I think a lot of brothers usually keep a lot of stuff inside, usually keeps it buried so deep that whenever it does come back up, because we all know whatever comes in the dark comes to light, it always ends up in the worst time, which is kind of the reason why I started doing these, because of the fact of I know that I'm not more of, well, I'm more of an expressive person now than what I used to be, because of the fact of I'm able to understand and internalize whatever emotion I have at that time. I can actually channel that and try to use it to better, I guess, myself, or try to turn it into the best positive energy that I can, to where it makes me a lot more healthy, I guess, from a mental standpoint, and of course from a physical standpoint, and so on and so forth. But I don't believe a lot of brothers were rewarded that kind of gift that I've had to develop over time, because of the fact of I wasn't able to grasp that concept like other guys were able to, because maybe they grew up in a two-parent household, or maybe they just had someone that just showed them what they needed to do in order to figure out how to use this form of rationality and turn it into something rational, but then all at the same time make yourself a lot more happy that you actually accomplish overcoming that feeling and necessarily not having to dwell on whatever that feeling was at that time. And me, as a huge proponent, or huge component, a huge advocate, for like mental health, as far as like the black community is concerned, like I believe there is a need for a lot of brothers to actually a necessary vehicle for us to unload in, where we can just let everything loose, to the point where we're not always having to necessarily have, I guess, what's the word? I guess virulent situations, to where we have to channel our energy through bad situations, whether it be from necessarily taking a gun to the head, taking a gun to somebody else, having to go to fisticuffs unless you're not defending yourself. Because those who look for fights are always going to usually get the ass whooped. Let's just keep it real. But so on and so forth. But y'all understand where I'm going with this. But I guess a question to the brothers is, do we have somewhere we can actually unload and not be chastised for it, or have a safe space where we can actually channel whatever emotions we have and turn it into something better, or just in general, just vent, no matter what the situation is? I mean, outside of just therapy and all that, I mean, for those who can afford therapy, I mean, because hey, there's some situations where a brother can't do that. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm in that kind of situation myself, so that's why I decided to make my own space, which is why I made these. But that's the question to the brothers, though. Do we have that? And some ladies can chime in too. But until next time, peace.